This is Digi Style with Kylie Bartlett.
Well, good morning and welcome. My name is Kylie Bartlett, host of Digi Style, the place to be if you want to dominate your digital media. Our first guest is Rob Nisi, CEO and founder of Dexterous Pro, who is a specialist in software solutions for businesses, and he's going to be talking with me around why we need to be pulling that software band-aid off our business now if we are going to work smarter, not harder into the future. Ta-da! Welcome to the show, Rob.
Oh, thanks very much for having me.
How's it going out there? Freezing cold, nice to be in the studio right now.
It is a cold morning, but it's good to be out of the house.
I know, the little things, right?
Just the little things.
Okay, so let's talk about Dexterous Pro. Give us a little bit about your background, where's the business been, how did it come about, and what are you up to now?
Yeah, definitely. So we're very different than the traditional business, the software company that are out there. Two main founders, myself and another gentleman, Mark Abbott, both commercial banking background, and Mark's a chartered accountant. So usually most software companies do have the heads being software developers.
Yes.
So we're quite different. Everything we viewed is very much more on a commercial basis, because our importance is the need of how we can commercially allow businesses and organizations to deliver what they need from a software level.
So when you say software, I'm just going to pull it back here for us laymen's out there who don't get all the talk. So software, we're talking about, like, is it efficiencies? Is it databases? Is it automation? When you say software, what does that mean?
It's a mix of all of that.
Yep.
It's where businesses are looking at their whole entire process and saying, well, where can we streamline what we currently do? What are our processes? What are our procedures? And how can we get the most out of our team? We looked at the landscape 7 to 8 years ago, and we found there were really two models out there. There was the SaaS model, software as a service.
Yes.
It gives you the ability to go online, put your credit card, use a subscription model, and essentially roll that piece of software out to the team. Fantastic to get yourself up and going.
Yes.
Some of the main issues with that we find our clients were facing is that you had to make your business work around the software.
Okay, so it was like you're pulling something off the shelf, it's not customized, and whatever the functionality is, then that's what you've got to live with, yeah?
Exactly,
okay.
and that was a real issue that the majority of businesses were facing. The second option that was out there was custom solution.
Building it from scratch.
Building from scratch, you go to a developer, you go and find someone who either internally or externally can develop your dream system. Again, in theory, sounds fantastic. One of the major problems with that is extremely expensive, and it requires a lot of testing, there are a lot of bugs, there are a lot of issues. You really need to start from the ground up when you're doing that, and it's years upon years of a project.
So from a software perspective, you're saying, is this a lot of the functionality that we don't see as a customer or a consumer? Is it like, I'm trying to break it down so I get what happens behind the scenes. So it's not Microsoft Word or Excel or PowerPoint. This is how you bring it all together, the efficiencies in the business.
Exactly. It's everything from the data you collect within a business to communicating with customers, suppliers, where you're trying to take information. Things from a basic CRM system to inventory management to online portals.
Now I'm getting it. So like MailChimp is what I use to manage my emails, and then I have CRMs and Salesforce. This is about bringing all that together in a customized way.
Exactly. So we looked at the marketplace and we said, well, there are only two main areas. You've got the SaaS model or you've got the custom model.
Yeah.
So we decided to do something completely different. What we decided to do was, instead of creating industry-specific solutions, we decided to be completely industry agnostic, and we created functionality. So Dexterous system right now has over 1,500 pieces of different functionality.
Wow. Let's say you've developed it for one company, that you can repurpose that functionality that may be suitable for another. Is that what you mean?
That's exactly it. So we've created a piece of functionality, let's say online forms. Now, how one client needs it compared to another client is always completely different. So instead of trying to go into and box ourselves in and say, this is how you need to use online forms, we tell our clients, here's the functionality, here's what it does. Now, what do you need it to do for your business?
Outcome driven.
Exactly, and it completely has changed the landscape in how businesses view technology and how they can actually assist themselves in growing further as well.
So where are you seeing the big mistakes being made? Like, I'm getting a strong sense with the businesses I'm talking to that now that people are in, whether it's minor or major shutdown, they've got time behind the scenes to kind of either resurrect their business or repurpose it. They seem to be scrambling online really quickly, and a lot of them are probably going to the brands that they know. right? Because they'll go and, for me, I might use a Jot form to do a form, or I might use MailChimp, or So what would you say to those businesses that have time on their hands right now, so that when they reopen their doors, that they come up working smarter, not harder?
Yeah, well, I think with that, we need to look back probably 5 to 10 years. There was a rush for businesses to get online and to get digital.
Yes.
What that meant was a lot of businesses in that term you said when we first opened, bandaid fixes.
Yes.
So they were saying, oh, that's fantastic. You can get an electronic signing piece of software. Let's use that. Let's use an email marketing piece of software. Let's use MailChimp. And what's happened now, they've got all these different pieces of software, which are great.
But none talk to each other though.
None talk to each other. And what that means is you've got all these inefficiencies. Something we know was sold this grand holy grail, hey, you can have all these different systems out to do these amazing things. In theory, sounded fantastic.
Yes.
Now their teams are actually working harder as opposed to having this an efficient, streamlined model coming through.
Yeah. So I guess it's about leverage as well. So having an integrated software solution is going to allow a business to scale and to leverage longer term, right?
Exactly. So you got the leverage part of it, and then you also have the element that you can start to dictate and really push through. A lot of businesses we deal with aren't at the startup level, they're at that next level.
Yes.
They've had that huge amount of growth.
And had growing pains, no doubt.
Exactly. And now they're looking at all their internal processes and saying, well, how can I grow further? How can we actually create a technology ecosystem and push to that next level?
I love that word, ecosystem. So everything's talking to each other, it's all integrated, and you're finding that it's going to allow businesses to be more efficient but more profitable, because you don't need as many staff if you've got a system that's working for you.
That's right, you don't need as many staff, or you can reallocate staff into other areas.
Like customer service, free them up to be not having to work behind the scenes, but to be giving great service.
Well, that's exactly it. And one of the other really key elements we find is that you actually get more out of the software than you currently have previously. So let's use an example. Let's say a DocuSign or a PandaDoc, so an electronic sign software.
Like Adobe?
Like Adobe, 100%. Yep, one of those pieces of software there. Traditionally, you would use that piece of software to create a document and send it to a customer.
That's what I'm thinking I'm doing in my head right now. Yes, that's what I do.
No, fantastic. And it works really, really well. So we would never try to replicate that, because these businesses spent millions of dollars perfecting what they do.
Yes.
However, the inefficiencies are, you then need to, put the information into that document.
Yes.
You then have that document signed and stored somewhere else other than your CRM system, and you're always going between different systems.
You're right. Like, I'll just go put it in Dropbox and hope I remember what I called the file.
Exactly. So what we do on our side is that we will integrate an Adobe Sign or a DocuSign into your one CRM system, which is Dexterous. And therefore, you create the rules. You say, when I click this button, create the document, automatically send it to our client. When my client signs that document, automatically save it in this designated area, automatically push our workflow steps saying client signed, and allocate this task here and send an SMS to the performance manager. There's a range of different elements you can actually push across.
Take my money. This is like, I forget the names of my passwords, I forget the names of my documents, and so it sounds like by having this streamlined, it is absolutely allowing you to be more efficient, to free you up what you're meant to be doing, rather than sitting there and being bureaucratic and trying to find files.
Well, that's exactly it. And it's about looking at what you're currently having, again, in that ecosystem and saying, where are the inefficiencies? And what we find quite interesting, a lot of our clients don't know what they don't know.
Yes.
They don't know some of the things that are actually possible.
Well, I didn't, and I would call myself, I'm pretty au fait with tech and digital software, and I didn't know that this is what you could do.
Oh, definitely. And it's from that basis then, once you start collecting data and information, you start to utilize the power of being able to integrate different systems. All of a sudden you start to realize all these different systems are actually pushing information into my one central piece of software, which is Dexterous. So then you can do anything you need to do with that data and that information.
Have you got any great examples of companies that you've seen look like a dog's breakfast, and you've come in and systematized it and used software that they're now running like a well-oiled machine?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got your businesses that have initially started on spreadsheets,
yes,
and have worked their way through
yes,
different formulas, different spreadsheets, and trying to coordinate that between different teams. So the key part to us is every time we go and install a new version of Dexterous for our clients, we go through a full workflow configuration.
Okay.
Our team will step through what are your processes, what are your online documents, what are your checkpoints, what sign-offs you need from different hierarchies. Then also, what triggers do you need, what automated actions you need to have. And we essentially workshop a full process map of exactly what they do.
Like an architectural plan. Before you build a house, you've got the plans in place before you start laying the slab and putting the walls up.
Exactly. And then we start to strip out all the inefficiencies.
Okay.
I'll give you one example. One of our clients had needed to send off an email from a variety of different applicants.
Yes.
When that email came in, they had to decide who was going to have the job, where they were going to allocate it to. We created a system that our system read the emails that were coming through and decided which applicant was the right one.
So
and
is that using AI or are you using
machine
learning?
Machine learning.
Wow, so it's
Definitely.
actually scanning the email and it knows what to do with it.
Exactly. And again, these are one of the things that businesses don't know what they don't know. And and even from our point, the reason why we don't try to create industry specific solutions, because we don't know what the pain points are. It's only when we sit down for a client and they're saying, well, we send these 18 emails out and all these people need to check it before we realize, there's probably a smarter way to go across and do that.
Wow, amazing. Okay, one last question. Where do you see the future in this space?
Yep. I see businesses really adopting this type of software and technology moving forward. We were just lucky to be one of the early adopters for it. So.
And now you're seeing it going a little bit more mainstream where people are open to having customized software solutions.
Definitely.
Fantastic. And where can we find out more about you? How can people follow you? How can they get in touch with you? Give us a plug around where we can find you.
So it's Dexterous Pro, so dexterouspro.com.
Yes.
All the information you need there. We've got case studies, wide range of different insights. It's everything you need in one place.
So have you got like templates or checklists? I mean, you spoke about having this ecosystem where you come out and do a flow chart. Is there anything on your website that you're saying there's case studies of businesses can kind of dip their toe in and see what it's about before they...
Definitely. And again, we never start from a blank canvas. We've got the basis of templates that go across to show businesses the right way to run their sort of structures.
Are you all over social?
We're all over social.
Where can I find you?
Same thing. Anywhere you want to go on social.
Just
Dexterous
Dexterous Pro.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, and on LinkedIn as well. That's where we tend to
LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram.
hang out. You've got my mind really. I'm thinking in many directions here, Rob, because as you know, with Digital Talent Group, we're looking to scale my training company, and you've now got me thinking about how we could do enrollment using customized solutions software.
And that's the thing. It's just about thinking things in a different way.
Yeah, really looking forward to exploring more around Dexterous Pro and how you can help my business and obviously the viewers' businesses as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
thank you so much for your time.
No, thanks for having me on.
Look forward to catching up in the future post-lockdown and even maybe
maybe
having a drink or something when we can catch up in person. Thanks for your time, Rob. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sat.
Okay, so now we're going to go to a short break. Be back soon.